Listen, all I'm saying is I'm with the mother here in 100 Girlfriends. I wouldn't let my daughter go to that school either. The principal alone is enough of a yikes. I mean, that principal forces herself on students. Who the hell would let you go to a school like that, especially when apparently we ain't even going to class. We're just skipping school and going on that rooftop and having harems for days. But even if you just look at it from like a mother's point of view, how do you logically explain to your mother that this harem is actually okay for all of them? It just seems like nonsense, but you add in just a very questionable school. I can't say I blame a mother for saying, yeah, dear, I'm switching schools and you shouldn't be with this five-timer. It makes a lot of sense from her point of view, and it probably helps that she looks like a snack too, I'm not gonna lie. But I have to admit, I'm impressed by Rentoru. I don't remember the last time I've seen someone get married and divorced that fast. I mean, sure, divorce rates be high anymore, but even this is a little lightning fast. But then again, I guess when the first episode kickstarts with you getting two girlfriends back to back like that, I guess anything can happen. Full live reaction though to this week's 100 Girlfriends episode over on my Patreon. If you would like to see my full uncut thoughts, they're over there if you're interested. Now this was a great episode. It had some funny moments, had some what the hell am I looking at moments, it had some sweet moments, but most importantly, it starts to progress the show in an interesting direction, in a more serious direction, because they kind of kickstart it with some sort of like dramatic scene. You don't really know what's happening. All I'm thinking is I'm like, okay, why would you go for Hakari when you got the mom right there? I mean, yeah, you know what? This show wants us to be down bad. I'm gonna be down bad for the milfs of the show, okay? Shoot a boy. I like the milfs. But I like the fact that they go in this like, it kind of makes your guard drop because they kind of started a little spicy, but it doesn't really feel like we're gonna jump right into some craziness like them breaking up or anything like that. No, instead, it just seems like some typical family drama. And apparently she comes from a rich family, like that house is loaded with money, so if we can get mom on our side, the bank's gonna be flowing and we're gonna need some cha-ching, given the fact that there's gonna be a goddamn 100 family here, and if you add in kids, goddamn, there ain't gonna be enough funds to go around. So we need some sugar mamas, and apparently that's exactly what we're building into. But the idea of like having this like, okay, whoever catches the bouquet, you get this like romantic photo where you get to pretend that you're getting married. It's not like they actually got married, but honestly, with how the show goes, they could randomly have a pregnancy arc in like 2 episodes for all I know, and they're just gonna roll with it because why the hell not? But the idea that basically we're building into our girl breaking up with Rentoru. And obviously no one really sees it coming, but it makes a lot more sense in hindsight why she was okay with giving up the photo despite it being so important to her. Something she's always dreamed about, and apparently, you know, immediately after meeting Rentoru, even though it was like 3 days ago, all she could think about was doing something like this. But when you see someone like Suri just freaking out and upset, she's like, you can have the photo. And honestly, I loved all their reactions. Like, wait a second, did she bonk her head? Like, this is not the girl we know. But I love how they let her have it, and then because they're the Rentoru family, they all take the picture together. But I think given the fact that she was planning on breaking up with him because of what the mom said, it makes a lot more sense that she didn't want to steal that photo from any of them, knowing that Rentoru would still be with them at the end of the day, and that for her, this was just a memory that she was going to have to forget about because of how the mother was being, right? So it's interesting because obviously we know, like, it wasn't just going to end there, of course. I mean, even if we ignore the fact that we're still early into the 100 Girlfriends story and we haven't even come close to the 100 soulmates all linking up together, at the same time, I like the idea that we have something a little more spicy that breaks the mold and breaks the formula. We're off the rooftop again. We're doing something fun and exciting, but most importantly, we have this kind of like eloping arc. And I like how Rentoru starts off being like, listen girls, I'll be back someday, but I gotta get her out of that home. We gotta make sure this can be okay. And like Karane just being like, bruh, you really expect us to wait around? Hell nah. I'm coming with you. And honestly, I'm excited to see what they do. Honestly, eloping is probably just going to be that damn rooftop for all I know, but either way, I'm excited to see what they pull off. I feel like the direction they'll probably want to go is most likely getting the mom on their side, because I could very much see a situation where like the mom ends up like looking at some sort of action that Rentoru does on top of seeing all of the girlfriends with him when they ultimately get caught, because you know that's gonna happen. And she's gonna see that it's like some true love, and most importantly, she'll probably be like, damn daughter, you got a hunk of a man here, and she's probably gonna be flirtatious. I mean, Rentoru is just the harem king at this point. Even if it's not a soulmate, I'm convinced that he's gonna be able to make a lot of people be a little envious of him, especially because you probably know the whole idea that, you know, like if a man wears a wedding band, right? The fact that women will pay a little more attention to him because then it's kind of like the idea that, oh, knowing that he's taken, it puts like a value on him. So honestly, the idea of being wrapped around a bunch of beauties probably going to do the same thing for people who aren't even necessarily soulmates for him and usually would shoot him down if he wasn't a part of these relationships. But either way, I like what they're doing. I feel like next week's going to come around with the whole idea that they're going to run off into the sunset together. Mom's going to stumble in and potentially just realize that they actually have something true. Or maybe it'll get more spicy. I don't know. But either way, I mean, we got drug dealers. We got robots for girlfriends. I don't even know. This harem is wild. We go from Resident Evil to a more traditional kind of like family stopping us from being together. But like I said, I can't even blame the mom. Like, put yourself in her shoes. This school's got principals crawling up the walls to sexually assault students, and apparently your daughter is like talking about some poly relationship that she's probably not selling you all that well on, because who the hell is really able to sell to someone who's probably in a more traditional love mindset? But either way, I can't say I blame a character for being like, girl, you ain't going back to that school. I don't even want to go back to that school. I mean, hell, just the principal alone is enough to make me just like, oh God, what am I looking at? You add in some goddamn gorilla squad and I'm like, bro, like what the hell was this episode? But I really do appreciate this show because like it just has like this interesting blend. It's like a 50-50 split. Like even if like probably 60 or 70% of the time it's more funny than anything, I like the fact that it can be serious and be like, okay, when you take a step back, remove the comedy moments, you're like, oh, I see what they're doing here. This is a legitimately good romantic kind of story being built here, and somehow they make the nonsense of this entire harem actually work out. I just really appreciate this show. It's like legitimately one of the stupidest and like sweetest shows all mixed into one, and I don't know how the hell the author does it, but the production, the voice actors, just everything about it is really good. And I think the way I describe this show is like I have two different types of favorite episodes. The ones that have made me laugh the hardest and make me say, what am I watching? And then the more emotional episodes, whether that's sad emotion or happy emotion, whatever that may be. In terms of this week, I would categorize it as one of the more emotional episodes. And probably thinking about it, I mean, there's definitely been some character introductions that have had that emotional heart sting, but I think this was probably the best emotional episode of 100 Girlfriends. But in terms of comedy, I mean, just take your pick over the past few weeks. That shit has absolutely left me rolling. But very good stuff. I'm interested to see about the quote-unquote eloping and what the crew's gonna do. The squad's all here, and goddamn, you know it's gonna be chaos, but mom's best girl. I'll die on that hill. Fight me. But let me know what you thought down below, because this was an interesting change of pace, but leave it to Rentoru to get divorced and fake married all at the same time. But thoughts down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more 100 Girlfriends to the channel, and like I mentioned, we got that full live reaction over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Lamont Cranston, Connor Brown, G.R. Vallis, Alec Crayon, Jarl Balgruff, Omar, Jay Vorty, and good stuff. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.